Okay, so let's look at this one again. This this is a piece of linen, and it happens to be the kind of print that, let's just turn it over. The kind of print that, it's a pigment print, and that is that it's printed on the surface of the fabric, and the print itself doesn't go through. There's all kinds of prints, but I very often use the wrong side of fabrics. And especially in this case, it's actually brought out the weave a little bit, because some of the dye comes through and some of it doesn't. So in considering weave, a lot of times the reverse side of the print will have not only a nice kind of ghost effect of the print on the other side, but it will also bring out the weave effect because of the way the dye sort of sinks in. So you can see that what I did when I cut the circle is I kind of slashed it so that I could turn the fabric back. And of course, when you look on the back now, you've got a little sort of a sun motif. This is something that I actually used on purpose in the Sun, Moon, Stars class. So I'm thinking that my second go-around, maybe I'll make this the front and work the basket inside, and then it would be kind of like a, well, more of a sun type of look, and then I might be able to continue the basket around. You know, baskets very often have this triangular. So I've drawn myself another circle here. I think I'll do several of these on here. I still have the idea that these can be cut out, but I'm also just interested in comparing some things. So I usually draw my circles with the Pitt pens described in Cloth to Cloth. And I always do them freehand. It's not a perfect circle. I'm not really sure that a perfect circle would enhance this basket thing in any way. As a matter of fact, I'm not sure a perfect circle is anything I'm ever really after. I'm more curious to see how my hand makes the circle, how it connects to my mind, and you know, sometimes they're more perfect than other times. And then I'm just going to snip this from the center. You know, this is just like turning back any curve. It makes it easier to shape the curve if you have more cuts. And you can do as many as you feel like you need, depending on how perfect you want the thing to come out. But I'm thinking this time of perhaps turning them this way. So instead of hemming them underneath, I think I'm going to hem them on the top and make this another variation. So I did that, and because of the difference between the two sides of the fabric, these come out looking almost as if they're appliqued on or added. And that's something you can do too, I guess, is to cut the circle and then cut a piece and actually fold it onto both sides, just to cover the edge using some kind of decorative shape, and you could come up with some other designs. So this is another option, instead of pushing the flaps to the back with any shape, is to bring them to the front, and you're adding, again, another design element. I'm using a little bit of a thicker, this is a plied silk, raw silk yarn that I actually sent to Glennis a long time ago. I think she dyed it for me. That was before I knew how to do indigo. And I do tend to keep a lot of my small thread ends and little bobbins. You know, I use twigs. There's lots of different ways to store your yarn, but they're everywhere here, and I kind of like the way they look. And using a little bit of a thicker yarn that's actually plied rather than stranded, you know, embroidery floss will separate, but this won't separate as well, which means you can actually stitch into it and anchor certain things with a sewing thread if you need to. And I think that can come in handy, especially on looser weaves. Okay, so all I'm really doing here is coming up and going across. I find that it's better not to go too close to the edge. So in case your fabric is too loose a weave, you don't want to make holes. And then come back up. I think I kind of start with 2. Oops. Guess I should have stitched that down. And then you start crisscrossing. So you're going to take this one and bring it over there. Right? And then you come back up. And you want to come back to the other side. And what you want to do is come back up, go to this side, come back up, go to this side, and as you do that, you see you get this little twist here. And once you get all around, you really get sort of a kind of a spin there. I kind of figured this out as I went, but anyway, once you get all around, you can come back in and kind of wrap this up a little bit. And I'm thinking that probably there's some fancy things you could do here as well. I just kind of sort of wanted to secure it in some way. And then come back over to the other side. And then I actually did come in with a sewing needle and kind of knot this up in the middle, and I also used that method to come up to start my weaving as well. So it's an interesting spin on a warp, and this is something I hadn't thought of before. And I really think this has potential because, you know, depending on what you cut out of what you're taking away, this could turn into just about anything, I suppose. So then you just weave in and out all the way around. And of course, you don't have to do it perfectly either. You can skip, you can be more free-form, maybe you can change colors. So it's worth experimenting a little more, I think.